Hi, my name's Anish. I'm a supervisor here at Sigma Sport, mainly dealing in bike sales and accessories. I personally ride a specialised LA race. It's more of a nice winter road bike, but have some good fun on it. So what I think a lot of people have got in mind if they've never ridden a road bike before and they're getting into it is to buy the cheapest possible road bike. So obviously you're always thinking, am I going to enjoy it? Well, I suppose what you've got to think is, do you have a lot of friends that do it as well? Because that's a really easy way to continue doing it. If you're riding on your own, it can be a little bit hard mentally. If you're riding with other people, it's a really good thing because it's social as well as being a real healthy thing to do for you to ride. So what we always say to people is, think about what you're going to be using the bike for. Think about what you'd like to do with the bike if you're going to do events, if you're going to start racing, if you're going to be more social rider, and start to paint a picture of how much you think of spending, because a lot of people, and I've had it before, will buy an entry-level road bike, really love it after the first couple of months, and then come back and buy a slightly nicer carbon bike. And it's a lot more cost effective to think, well, maybe meet myself in the middle and buy a nicer spec bike or start an entry-level carbon bike, because you've got a good foundation and you can always upgrade the parts from there, and it will work out more cost effective and cheaper for you. So first, road bike is quite fundamental. So what we look at in store is bike fit. We're multi-branded, so we keep a range that's specialised: Cannondale, Trek, Focus, nice range that we keep in store, and they all offer very competitive bikes at set budget price points. So the main thing that we look at is fit, because you physically might fit a brand better than another. But depending on what your specifications are, so if you've got a set amount of money you want to spend, we can also tailor you to that bike, so we can make certain adjustments as part of a new bike in store to make sure that you are correctly set up on the bike. Again, budget mind for that person and what they're happy and can actually afford is quite dependent. But probably about maybe £700 or £800, and that's a good entry-level road bike. It's going to have a nicer spec. Nothing wrong with these sort of £500–600 mark. Nice frames, you get budget componentry on there, so if you can afford to spend even a couple of £100 more, you will get a much better bike, and it's a little bit more future-proof, because the first thing anyone will do is start changing the components over time. Most important components are mainly, I would say, the group set and the gears, because a lot of bike brands will offer you a bike with more training wheels or slightly heavier wheels, because it's a really good way, especially from the consumer point of view as well, a really good way to keep a bike at a more competitive price. If you've got an £800 with a half decent, slightly heavier training set of wheels, if you start putting more expensive wheels on there, that £800 bike will turn into an £1,100–1,200 bike. So it means that people can't get as good quality bikes for a reasonable price. So the group set, I think, is one thing that most people look after, but it's also something you're using all of the time. You're always changing gear, you're always using the brakes, and it's just a more beneficial aspect of riding a nicer bike. So bikes at that kind of medium range price, about £700–800. Specialised is a key one for us. They do both the LA and Sector range at that price point. Trek also, they do the 1 Series. Both those brands also do women's range of bikes as well. Again, very competitive in terms of aluminium frame, upgrade to a carbon fork when you spend a little bit more, and Shimano gearing components. And also Cannondale as well offer a nice range of the CADs and synapses at that price point. So again, more endurance, which is a little bit more comfortable road bike, or the slightly more sporty range of bikes as well. So all of the key brands that we do offer those price points. So I think when you're hitting the higher end of that aspect, so around 900-ish, you'll be pushing sort of 9-speed Shimano Sora. A lot of brands would be sort of 8-speed Claris, which is good, but it's just mainly a little bit more performance based on the 9-speed Sora, as well as having a better transition through the gears, because you've got an extra cog and being lightweight as well. So something that everybody, whether it's an entry-level bike or a top-of-the-range maxed-out bike, will encounter is wear and tear on the bike. So cable and gears, essentially, both the brake cables and gear cables, they will stretch over time, which means that it'll shift, or it won't shift as smoothly as the from the first point of view, from the way to go. You know, most good bike shops, we offer a first free service with any bike, so as it's bed in, you know, we're able to tweak it up for free, which means that you have less problems, but also it's a good chance to check over the bike. But basic things people can do is just mainly keep the drivetrain clean and clear and properly lubricated. In worst case scenario, if it gets dirty and you put lubrication on there, you'll make the wear a lot worse and a lot quicker. So 5–10 minutes is all it takes, an old rag, take the most part of the grease off if that's what you can do, and muck on and put the new lubricant on there, and it will just save you money and aggravation over time. It is important in terms of the whole cycling experience, because it's a lot more efficient and it just makes the whole riding experience better. You know, you're kind of complete with the bike. It's a little bit daunting for new road riders, especially if you've never used that sort of SPD clip-in system, because effectively you are attached to the bike. So what I always say to people is, you know, whether you're going to get a new road bike and then find bits afterwards, remember that it's an option you can move on to. I generally recommend people do it all in one go, you know, get used to the whole factor in one place, because then you become more confident on the machine rather than getting confident on the bike and putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And believe it, it does make a big difference in terms of riding. Again, depending on the budget, if somebody's working on a tight budget, you can buy double-sided Shimano SPD pedals for sort of £28, and a good quality shoe from someone like Specialized from about 75 quid. The shoes are a little bit more expensive, but they're a lot more durable, and comfort is the main thing you get from it as well. When you move on to having a bigger budget, you know, you can easily spend a few £100s on shoes, which become much more efficient, stiffness, lighter and significantly more comfortable, and equally the same, a couple £100 on pedals. But again, like I said, depending on the spectrum you're at, whether you're starting off or whether you're looking to upgrade, you can match out your spec of your bike as well.
Ride25. Explore the world leg by leg.